Hi, and welcome to the Gadget Talk channel, where we do reviews and how-tos on a variety of gadgets, including action cams, audio and video tools, and radio-related gadgets. In this video, we're going to look at using a small, lightweight solar panel along with a couple of appropriate connectors to charge radios and other gadgets. Let's jump to a recent camping trip I made to a national forest campground and see how using a portable solar charger, a power bank, and a voltage doubler cable will allow you to keep your ham or GMRS radios charged, as well as other USB chargeable devices. So here we are out in the woods, one of my favorite campsites, and give you an idea of the kinds of things that you'll need to keep your batteries and your various radios and other devices charged using a small portable charger. So I've already reviewed this charger on the channel, so we're not going to go into any detail with it other than to say that it's there. So we've got a couple of ways that you can go about charging your various devices. One of them is if you happen to have a device that charges at the USB level of voltage, which is 5 volts. And so here in this case, I've got this little GMRS radio, and it charges with a USB-C. So the voltage conversion that happens is happening here in the battery. And so in this case, you can just plug your USB-C into your solar charger and directly into your radio. And a number of newer radios are charging via USB-C, so that makes it really handy. So another way to go about charging is what I would call indirectly, and that's using a power bank like this one. So in this case, we would just simply plug in the USB here into the power bank, charge the power bank up when the sun's shining, and then we can charge our devices using the power bank at night or after we've gotten back to camp, after we've done our day's activities. And so we're still using the solar power from the panel, but we've stored it for a while, and then using this to charge the device. And so that would be the second way. And then the third way is for radios like this little Baofeng radio. This is a UV5R EX battery. You'll see that it doesn't have a USB type charger on it. It's just the regular Baofeng that you often see around, and very similar to other brands of radios as well. And it uses a charging cradle. And so this is the charging cradle. I've got so many of them, I've got it labeled. But in this case, what we were doing is we're just going to make a note of the bottom of the charging cradle. And so you can see that it happens to be a CH5 model, because the battery on this little Baofeng EX model is a little different shape. The important thing we want to look for here is that the input voltage is 10 volts and the output voltage is 8.4 volts, which basically means that this is, a 2-cell LiPo battery. And so we need to make sure that whatever we're doing, we're putting into the back of this little charger 10 volts. That's what it requires. And so the way to do that is to use a cable, and these have been around a while. This is labeled with the ABBREE brand. It says it's Baofeng's choice. But what these little devices have going for them is that the USB-A side of our charge cable has a little chip in there, and that's changing the voltage. It basically is doubling the 5-volt output to get 10 volts to go into the charger. So with this little charger solar panel, it's a 21-watt panel with only USB out. That means each of these are only 5 volts. Because we want all of the amperage going to the charger, we're only going to use one at a time. So we'll just take this and plug it in. You can see, I hope there, it turned green. So it's getting power from the solar panels, and the little USB connector in there has also turned green. And in this case, then we're going to plug it into our charge cradle. So now we've got 10 volts going into our charge cradle, and when we drop our radio in, we can get it charging. And it's hard to see here in the bright sunlight, but when I've cupped my hands around it, this little LED is glowing red, which means that the radio is getting charge here directly from the solar panel to the cradle to the radio. So that is one of the ways that we could do this if we were charging during the day. Now, let's take a look and see how we would do that if we were charging using the power bank. So just like before, instead of charging via the solar panels, we've got that energy stored in the power bank. We've got a green light here at the end of this little USB chip at the A side of the cable. And again, we'll put the radio into our charge cradle. And I can see that the little light is glowing red there, indicating that the radio is being charged. So we can charge directly from the solar panel through this ABBREE chip, voltage doubler basically, into the cradle at 10 volts and it'll charge. Or we can do it indirectly and go through the power bank. And that way we could do the charging at night when we're in our campsite. We're not worried about it, using the device to stay connected with the people we're working with, whether it's the kids running around the campgrounds or whether it's your friends that you're out backpacking with. Now, there's one other thing that we're going to need to look at here just real quickly, and that is when you have the opportunity to have a radio that takes a USB-C charge current. So let's set that up here just briefly. Okay, so here we've got a USB-C cable. We've got the A side here, the C side here, and we don't have any extra chips or anything here because we're using the 5 volts. And so coming from our solar panel charger, just plug it in. I can see there's a little red light on the connector inside this little pocket, which means that the solar panel is producing a charge. And then in this case, I'm going to take out my little GM30 from Radioddity GMRS radio and plug this little rascal in on the bottom. Okay, and now again, if you can see here in the dark, see if I can shade that for you, you can see the red light at the bottom of the battery is lit, which means that the battery is charging. And if we looked inside the little pocket where our solar panel charger connector is, you would see that little LED is green, indicating that it's providing power, that the circuit's complete, if you will. So if you were in camp and just kind of enjoying the day and you realize you've got some of your devices that are unpowered or starting to get low, you just lay out the solar panel out on the table like we have here and plug it right in if you're blessed with a USB-C, or into a charge cradle if you're using one of those 10-volt types of chargers with that little ABBREE voltage doubler chip. So there we have it. Of course, as we did with the other one, we could plug this end into the power bank just as easily as the power panel here, and it all goes together exactly the same way. So most of these radios suggest that you don't use them while charging their batteries. And so that'll be up to you to decide whether you're just hanging around camp and leaving this layout on the picnic table to gather up some of those electrons from the sun, or whether you've got it strapped to your backpack feeding a power bank so that you'll be able to charge when you get to your campsite. So there we have it, a great way to keep your devices powered using a small portable solar panel device. As you can see, with just a couple of inexpensive gadgets, you can keep a variety of devices fully charged even when traditional power sources aren't available. Being outdoors is a common use case for this technology, but it also applies during various types of disasters that might interrupt commercial power to your home. Being able to communicate outside your home and receive important information from local authorities is very important. Your ability to keep your devices powered up enhances both inbound and outbound communications. Hey, if you found this video helpful, please click the thumbs up button below the video and subscribe to the Gadget Talk channel. Click the bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. Thanks for watching.